Welcome and thank you for joining us for today's Dealer On webinar. We like to call it AGA. You can also see it's also called Ask Greg Gifford Anything. My name is Eliana Raggio and I'll be your moderator today. Today's webinar is being presented by DealerOn. For anyone who isn't familiar with DealerOn, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency, best known for our amazing SEO, the absolute best customer service, and the highest converting website designs in the industry, including the award-winning Chameleon responsive website platform. We're so committed to lead conversion, optimization, and customer service that DealerOn is still the only company in the industry that offers a money-back lead guarantee program. Does your website company guarantee you a 50% lift in leads or your money back? Yeah, I didn't think so. Maybe you should check us out at our gorgeous brand new DealerOn website at DealerOn.com. And DealerOn is going to be exhibiting and presenting at the upcoming NADA convention in Las Vegas next week. If you're going to be there, hey, you got to stop by booth 6626N. We have a great booth. We'd love to see you. Both Greg and I will be there. So make sure you catch the amazing presentations from these DealerOn executives. And I got to tell you, everyone at DealerOn is super excited about NADA. In fact, we're so excited, we're running a promotion to check out our amazing line of products. Here's the deal. When you pre-schedule and attend a demo at NADA at the DealerOn booth, you're going to receive $100 just for doing that. You were going to check us out anyway. Don't lie. You can get $100 for that. Now, if you wind up signing a DealerOn purchase contract at the show, we're going to upgrade that $100 to an iPad Air 2 or an Apple Watch. Your choice. Doesn't matter to us. That is pretty awesome if I do say so myself. So, you want to get in on this? Go to DealerOn.com/webinar. You're going to see a nice big button there. Click on that. Fill out the form to pre-schedule your demo today, and we're going to see you at NADA. Oh, and I got to let you know about DealerOn's karaoke after party on Saturday night during NADA. It's going to be at 11 p.m. at Dino's in Las Vegas. It is going to be a blast. The karaoke contest is going to begin at midnight. We're picking 5 contestants to perform in front of a panel of course, automotive professional judges, of course. Winner gets $500 cold hard cash. You want to compete? Make a short video of you singing and send it to Sean Rains. That's Sean, S-H-A-U-N, at DealerOn.com. That's going to be how you qualify. And you know what? If you're not a singer, well, I hope we see you come out to the show. It's going to be super exclusive. So make sure you stop by booth 6626N to pick up your pass, and we will see you there. We have a great show in store for you today. We're very pleased to have the one and only Greg Gifford is our presenter today. Greg Gifford is the new Director of Search and Social at DealerOn. He's got over 15 years of online marketing and web design experience and has specialized in automotive SEO for the last 5 years, helping hundreds of auto dealers thrive while the industry has struggled during the recession. Greg speaks internationally at both automotive and SEO conferences, teaching thousands of small business owners and marketers how to get their sites to show up higher in local search rankings. He graduated from Southern Methodist University with a BA in cinema and communications and has an obscure movie quote for just about any situation. He's an international SEO speaker and currently serves as a member of the board of directors for the DFW SEM, an organization dedicated to promoting search engine marketing through best practices. His local search tips and tricks can easily be found online, and Greg can be reached at ggifford@DealerOn.com. Now, during the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we'll answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, we're going to try to respond to you by email later today. Also, don't forget, a link to download a copy of this webinar recording will also be emailed to you later today for your reference, and please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. And guess what? Our good friends at AutoHook. Ooh, they're sponsoring this week's webinar giveaway. That's right, AutoHook is a showroom traffic driver. They've built the ultimate attribution engine which tracks that customer through the lead, showroom visit, and purchase, and then delivers a cost per sale that's best in the industry. One of you lucky webinar attendees is going to win a $250 e-gift card from AutoHook. You have to be on the live broadcast to win it, though, so stay tuned. You could be the one walking away with this awesome prize today. And for more information about AutoHook, visit lead2show.com, lead2show.com. Also, at the conclusion of this webinar, you're going to get a short survey, so fill it out because we're always looking for quality feedback from our audience. And hey, do you tweet much? We hope you do. We'd love to see what you have to say about today's presentation, so please tag us in it. You can use hashtag DealerOnWebby. I'm at Eliana Raggio. You can also hit up Greg Gifford at, you guessed it, Greg Gifford. We look forward to seeing what you're saying. So let's get started. Let's ask Greg Gifford anything. Greg Gifford, or as I like to call you, the double G. How you doing?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm very excited because I get to see you at NADA next week. So I'm very excited, and I'm super excited that you're here doing another DealerOn webinar. Your webinars are always amazing, and you always throw out so much incredible information. And this was a new one for us today, Greg. So I'm pretty excited. Have you ever done one of these? Ask Me Anything?
I have not yet. This is
Ooh.
my first time.
I love it. All right, so for all of you great audience members who showed up today and tuned in today, what we need from you are your questions. Oh, as a matter of fact, Greg, now would be a great time to turn on your webcam so they can see your shining face. All right, so get those questions in. This entire hour is just for you. No agenda. You can ask Greg Gifford anything, and he is, wait a minute. That's not you, Greg. Come on, get in front of the camera. He's required by law to answer any question you send in. I'm pretty sure that's how the rules work. So ask Greg Gifford anything, all right? And rare occurrence, I am also making an appearance today. I know, it's scary. I know. So get those questions in. We already have.
Cool microphone thing.
Oh, yeah, my little Janet Jackson, do you want fries with that thing? Oh, my gosh, you totally have to get one of these. All right, we have a lot of questions already in the queue. So if you're ready, I'll start at the top. You ready, G?
Let's go.
All right.
Do it.
First question comes to you from Bruce. I didn't pre-read this question, and it's a long one, so I'm just going to go with it. We're going to see where this one takes us, okay? Okay. A website company gave me a presentation on their award-winning PCG AWA SEO. He showed me how many thousands of indexed pages their sites had for every keyword an auto shopper may type in. An example is, and I don't know if I should give the example because he actually, no, I can give it. An example is Nissan Sentra wheel alignment in, and then the dealer's name near the dealer's city, state, zip. It took me to a page that had some good content on Sentra alignment. I cut and copied a paragraph of the page's text and Googled it, and hundreds of pages popped up with the same duplicate content on Sentra alignment.
Yep.
Okay. From their other websites. Will Google at any time in the future punish duplicate content like this? And is this a good or a bad SEO strategy?
Super, super bad SEO strategy. Now, a lot of people talk about a duplicate content penalty. There's not technically a duplicate content penalty, but you don't get any sort of reward for duplicate content. You do get rewarded for original and unique content. So you could sort of say you do end up getting an inadvertent penalty because you've got all the duplicate content. Having that content is really, really, really bad. You do not want duplicate content on your site. And I can guarantee you, if you've got Nissan Sentra wheel alignment, you've also got Nissan every other model wheel alignment on that site. That's a strategy that several automotive SEO providers use. It is very outdated. It is very bad for your dealership. So I wouldn't really care about what sort of awards those guys are presenting to you. I would care about the strategies that they're using, and that's a strategy that, you know, was great 5 or 6 years ago, but right now isn't really going to do you much benefit.
So what should people in that situation do? Should they take the content from the website company and change it up, make it their own?
They shouldn't have to. If you're paying your SEO provider to do content for you and create all these things on your site and give you a better footprint so that you'll show up better in Google, and that's the sort of stuff they're pushing out, I would question, is that a provider you really want to continue to use? If you do want to stick with them, you know, there's a lot of providers out there that still do some other things that are great. If you want to stick with them because of some of the other things that they're doing, then I would just bring it up to them and say, hey, look, this is totally duplicate from 40,000 other websites or hundreds of other websites, and we're not down with that. We need
Right.
unique content because I know that that's important. And, I saw this webinar with this dude with beard and tattoos, and he said this is the way to go. But it's also not just me. I mean, you can read that anywhere. Duplicate content for years has been a very, very, very bad thing for your SEO. So
Okay.
I
Fair
would
enough.
bring it up to them and say, why are you guys doing this to us? We're paying you to do SEO, and this is not good.
Fair enough. I hear you. Okay, Bruce, thank you so much for the great question. All right, next question comes to you from Rick. Rick says, Greg, I'm jacked about Batman versus Superman, but Greg, how much do dealers spend on social media services monthly? And Rick, I don't know if Greg knows how much they are spending, but how much should they spend?
I'm not qualified to answer that question because I don't. I mean, I know what the dealers that we deal with spend, but with us specifically, social media is a part of the SEO package. So there is no separate social media cost for what we do. I don't know if he's asking for an average spend on paid social media promotion or paid social media ads or just organic social media. It's all over the board. I mean, you've got providers out there that will charge a couple $100, and you've got providers out there that charge a couple of $1,000. So there is no, this is what you should pay. Again, check the quality of what you're getting from your provider. Is your provider posting this crap to you that they're posting to everybody else? I mean, Ford is a really bad a bad offender here. If you go look at the Ford feed, they're posting the same thing to every dealership at the exact same time. So if there's 4 or 5 Ford dealers in the same metro area, you go look at their sites and pop over to their social accounts, and their social accounts look exactly the same. Obviously, it doesn't really matter what you're spending with that. Even if it's free because it's from Ford, it's still not doing you any good. So it's not really about the amount you're spending. It's about the quality of what you're getting.
Right. And Rick did have a follow-up. He said, well, how do other dealers buy social media services? Should we be doing it ourselves, or should we be using an agency?
So we do provide social media as part of our SEO package because social is an integral part of SEO now. But we never encourage dealers to use that as a, hey, this is a hands-off solution. You don't have to be doing any posting. We always encourage that dealers continue to post things from the dealerships themselves. So regardless of which service or agency you're using, there are things that you can do there at the dealership that the agency just can't replicate. Delivery photos with vehicles are a great example of that. Those do awesome on social. They're a great thing to do, and it's so much more effort for you to take those photos and send them to your agency and then have the agency turn around and post them. You should just post them yourself. There's a dealership I know of in Dallas that has a cat that's at the dealership that just lives at the dealership and hangs out, and it's like their pet mascot kind of thing. Your agency
is it owned by somebody?
The crazy things that the cats do.
Everyone, cats and the internet, they go together. That's like a thing, right?
Or if you're doing a test drive event at a local high school, it's really hard for your agency to post anything about that other than promotion beforehand, but you can come back and post pictures afterwards. So there's a lot of things that you should still be doing from the dealership, even if you are using an agency or a provider to handle some of the social media for you.
Okay. Rick has some follow-up questions that are coming up in a little bit. I want to let you know, Greg, our question queue has filled up very nicely. We have a lot of questions. We have a ton of questions.
Hopefully they're not all early.
Settle in. You're here for a while, all right? All right, next question comes to you from Sarah. She says, how are dealers currently measuring Facebook campaigns? That is the question in its entirety, by the way.
Can we ask her for a follow-up? Is she asking about organic stuff or about paid stuff?
Sarah, you heard the man. Right back on in. We'll get right back to your question unless you get to me right now. Oh, here she goes, paid. She wants to know about paid.
So, I mean, as far as how you're measuring it, it's very easy. If you're running your own stuff, you can just run into the ads manager and see what sort of results you're getting. If you've got a provider handling the spend for you, they should be providing reports to you that show that same data. You should also have access. Ideally, okay, If you have a provider that you just provide, you grant them admin access to your Facebook page, and they're running all of their ads off of their own account so that you don't have access to that data, that's not very good. There's a thing called Facebook Business Manager that you can set up so that they run all of the ads through the Business Manager account, so then you can log into the Business Manager account and also see the results of those ads. So anytime you've got someone handling paid media buys for you that you don't have access to see what's going on, that's a scary situation, because you just have to trust that they know what they're doing and that the numbers that they're giving you are legit. So hopefully that's a situation that you've got. If not, I would definitely ask your provider to give you access. If you're in there yourself, you just want to be looking at how are those campaigns performing? What sort of a reach are you getting? Because it is about the impressions, but it's also about click-through. So how, what's the click-through? Are you getting a lot of clicks for the impressions that you're getting? Are those people converting once you get them to wherever you're pointing them?
Right.
Are you running local awareness ads? The local awareness ads, sometimes if you're running the right kind of local awareness ad, you're doing click to call. How many people are clicking and how many people are actually calling? There's a lot of different metrics that are in there, but freely available. There's tons of data. So definitely be looking at what your spend is, what your cost per conversion is, and how many conversions you're getting out of that stuff.
And Sarah, who knows? We might have an entire webinar dedicated to that one day with the great Greg Gifford. Huh?
Maybe. You never know.
All right, Sarah wrote in, thanks for all the great info. Okay, let's keep going. Your next question, it's Bruce again. Bruce is up in the queue. Okay, here we go. Our Nissan and Kia sites have ranked #1 in Google's 3-pack since day one of the 3-pack. But now I'm worried that Google will want to monetize these 3 prime #1 organic spots one of these days. The position drives over 2,000 well-engaged visitors to our Nissan site. What do you see blowing in the wind here for the 3-pack's future? Greg, put your prognosticator cat hat on. And
I wish I had some tin foil. I could put my tin foil hat on right now and agree with you that we're all screwed and it's all going to be paid at some point or another. We have seen lots of tests from Google, even specific to the automotive vertical, where they are testing paid local results. Things over in the right side where you're searching for like a Camaro and it will show you dealerships near you that sell that vehicle.
Right.
That's a paid result. That's really scary. We have seen several tests of AdWords ads that look like local results. That's really scary. We've seen some of the service area stuff in the San Francisco area that is paid local results, so it's exactly what he's talking about. I would hope that it doesn't become purely paid, because obviously that does not serve the user, but Google's not our friend. Google is a company that's out to make money, and that's a really big revenue stream for them if they ever tap into that. So
let's not give them any ideas.
Oh, they've already got those ideas. If that becomes paid, then it just becomes you're going to have to spend money to get there. Unfortunately, if Google makes that move, there's nothing the rest of us can do about it. But for now, obviously, it's a super great source of traffic for you guys, and keep on as long as you can.
All right, we'll be hearing some more from Bruce in a little bit. Thank you so much for another great question, Bruce.
It's really funny if every other question is Bruce.
No, it's not. Your next one's from Felicia. Oh, Felicia. Are you really getting it with the bye Felicia thing? I was just wondering. Okay. Felicia's question is, in regard to blogging and social media for SEO, is it more important to get engagement or just get the keywords in there? You hear so many different right answers from different companies. Again, that's from Felicia.
So you don't hear so many different right answers. The only real answer is, and here's what I tell people all the time, and keep in mind, I'm not just an automotive guy. I travel all over the world, and I'm not saying this to brag, but I do travel all over the world at SEO conferences teaching other SEOs how to do this stuff. And the one thing that I always say is, if you ever do anything on your website or your blog and your thought process is, I'm doing this for SEO, then you're doing it wrong. Everything that you do should be there because it provides a better user experience. We are far beyond the days of SEO tricks that are going to get you to rank. You've got to go in and do things on your website that provide answers to your customers and useful and unique information for your customers and potential customers. And yes, there are some things that you do need to optimize in there, But if you're putting up blog posts specifically for the fact of, I want to get these keywords in here and rank for these keywords, I would bet that those blog posts probably are not that valuable or that unique to most of your customer base. Like, what was the thing we talked about earlier? Nissan Sentra tire alignment in
Right.
BFB, Iowa. Who's really looking for Nissan Sentra tire alignment? They're looking for tire alignment or, auto repair, things like that. So you can throw up all of these things, and it makes you feel all warm and fuzzy that you rank really well for all these. But if you look, you probably get 0 to none traffic on those pages and 0 conversions out of them. So instead of looking at, do I need to do this for the keywords or do I need to do it for the interaction, always do it for the interaction. Anytime you can get in front of real people, that's what's important.
You heard the man, Felicia. I know you got some other questions. We'll be hearing back from you in just a little bit. Let's get to this next question from Tim. Tim says, how much of an effect is the new Google search format going to have on traditional SEO and SEM strategies? Whoa, Tim, that's a big question. Greg, do you have a big answer?
I'm assuming he's talking about how they have pulled all of the pay-per-click ads from the right rail. So now there are only the 4 pay-per-click ads up above, so it's pushing all of the organic further down the page. I still don't think it's going to have that much of an effect. We have seen for years that the majority of people will avoid the pay-per-click ads. They will just skip right over them and go right to organic. So what? If you're 200 pixels further down the page, does that mean you're going to get less clicks? If it was all organic results, maybe, but if we're just adding that much more paid stuff that 80% of people are going to ignore, I don't think it's going to have that big of an effect.
All right, Tim, you heard the man. If you have another question, write on in. We'll get to it, okay? All right, next question comes to you from Alyssa. She says, what kinds of links should dealers be getting for local link building? I mean, is it enough to get like florists and bakers and your local pharmacy to link to you?
If there's a legitimate reason for them to link to you, you'd never want to go out and do something where you're just going to local businesses and trading links. If you're just going to the florist and saying, hey, if you link to me, I'll link to you, those links aren't valuable. You want to have links that are one-way links in as many cases as possible. Does a florist really have a reason to link to your car dealership? Maybe if you guys get fresh flowers from them for the front desk all the time, okay, then that makes sense. But if there's no relationship there, does that link really make sense? Probably not. I would make sure that the links that you're getting have a reason to be there. There needs to be some sort of business or personal relationship there, some sort of reason for that link to make sense to customers. As long as those links make sense, yeah, go for florists and plumbers and electricians and anything that you can, because the more local links you get, the better you're going to look to Google.
All right, Alyssa, you heard it. Thank you so much for the great question. All right, we're back to Bruce. Bruce, here's your question. Would it be beneficial to install Google's new Tag Manager and install all my... Okay.
Yes. Tag Manager is awesome. Use it whenever you can.
Okay. And install all my third-party plugins to it and then clean up all the old code from the site? Will it have a positive effect on site speed having all my third-party plugging into Tag Manager bucket? Would this setup give me the ability to track third-party leads conversions?
Without knowing what third-party plugins you're talking about, it's hard to say. It might be a little bit more clean that way. It's obviously going to remove that code from the base HTML or whatever format file you're using, but on the actual rendered page, those plugins are still going to be there, and most of the time it's not the actual code that causes site speed issues, it's the actual plugin and the functionality of the plugin. So if the plugins are if you're running 10 third-party plugins and that's slowing down your site speed, putting them into Tag Manager and having them populate your site through Tag Manager, you're probably still going to have a pretty slow site just because you've got all the third-party plugins.
Bruce, thank you again for another great question. All right, Greg,
Bruce, you got 5 minutes to get your next one in.
Oh, God. All right, your next question comes to you, Greg, from Tom. He says, our dealership is in the suburbs, but we want to rank in the main metro area. I hear you. We used to be on page 1, but now we're nowhere. What do we do?
So there is a strategy called local content silos that you should use. Back in the day before Google rolled out the pigeon update, it was a lot easier to get businesses to rank in nearby cities where they didn't have a physical address. And now Google is very, very biased towards an actual physical address. So if you've got a physical address in the city, great, you're going to rank there. If it's a nearby city and you don't have a physical address there, it's a heck of a lot harder to show up there. Now, keep in mind, if we're talking you're a VW dealer and you're in a major metro area and there's only one or two other VW dealers, then sure, you're probably going to be able to show up in several of those cities. But if you're a Toyota dealer and there's 15 Toyota dealerships in your metro, you're never going to beat the guy that's in the other city. He's always going to outrank you. But that doesn't mean you can't still get to page one if you do the right sort of thing. So you want to build these content silos. So it's almost, I don't want to scare everybody off and say microsite, but it's kind of that microsite strategy. Within your website, you've got this area of information just about that city. So, you know, you're talking about auto repair, auto service, oil changes, used cars, all of these different things that you want to show up for related to that specific city. And then you're also going to be writing blog posts about that specific city. And all of these things about that city are linking between each other inside of that silo, but there's not a lot of links out to other pages of the site. Then you're going to work on getting links from businesses and websites that are based in those cities into these silos, and that will help build relevance for these silos and get them to show up. So I actually wrote a post on Search Engine Land that really details how to do this. If you go to bit.ly, so bit.ly/local-content-silos, that walks you through the whole process and what to do.
All right, Tom, thank you so much for the great question. And since we are now on the subject of SEO, I'd like to take this moment to launch our very first poll question. So it's
I was just about to say it's time for a poll question.
I'd like to say great minds think alike, but, you know, my mind isn't as great as yours. But hey, whatever, I'll take it. So we're on the poll. We have two poll questions for you today, audience. The first one is on your screen now. We want to know, how would you rate the importance of SEO at your dealership? We got 5 answers for you to choose from, so let's do it. Is it the first answer, which is, it's the peanut butter to my jelly? So romantic. How about, I like SEO more than donuts? Maybe it's not your peanut butter or your jelly, but it's a little bit less than that. What about, it's kind of sort of important? I heard that SEO is kind of. The fourth answer is, SEO is bogus. Or the last answer, dude, I'm just here to win the gift card. I hear you, man. I hear you. But you know what? We still want to know what's happening at your dealership. So how would you rate the importance of SEO at your dealership? We already have a majority of the votes in, so I'll give you a few more seconds to get your votes heard, and then we'll close the poll and share the results. And yeah, dude, double G, you got a ton of questions still to get to. So we got to pick up the pace a little bit, maybe. I don't know. All right, let's close this poll and share the results with everyone. All right, Greg, 56% of today's very smart audience says it's the peanut butter to my jelly. 31% of today's audience, so about a third, said, well, I do like SEO more than donuts. And the remaining 13% said, it's kind of sort of important. And no one answered the last two. So, Greg, does that help you out?
Cool, that means we don't have to give away the gift card today.
Oh, is that right? We still have to give away the gift card. All right, so let's move on to, thank you, audience, for voting in that poll question. We got one more poll question coming your way. Like we said, today is Ask Greg Gifford Anything Day. So write in your questions. We do have a ton of questions already in the queue. We're going to try and get through as many of them as we can. Your next question, Greg, comes to you from Felicia again. Hey, Felicia. She says, what is the daily musts for SEO? If you don't have a third party keeping an eye on it, I currently use DealerOn for our website, but that is it. I'm blogging and doing the social media aspect myself, but I do not have a PPC company. How important is PPC compared to SEO and organic rankings?
Okay, that was a big, long question. So
that was the question, dude. These are the questions you get.
This is totally turning into the Bruce and Felicia show.
No. That's it for Bruce and Felicia. I got nothing else.
So as far as daily musts for SEO, I wouldn't say there's anything that's a daily must. There is a monthly must list.
Oh,
There's so many different tasks that you need to do as far as SEO. It's just too much to do in one day. And a lot of the tasks, it's not like you need to be doing it every single day, but you need to hit these tasks every month. So definitely be checking your Google Analytics to see which pages are working for you and which pages aren't. Check your bounce rate on your pages. Pay attention when we're talking about bounce rate, though. If you're really pushing your call to action as being a phone call, you may have a higher bounce rate than if you're pushing your call to action to be a form fill, because the way that Google calculates bounce rate is whenever you land on a page, a timer starts, and that timer continues to tick until you do something else on that website. So if I land on a promotion page that you may have for some sales event, or a page for service, and your call to action is call us and book an appointment, or call us now and call us, and I land on that page and I read all the stuff and I'm super pumped and I'm like, yes, I'm going to call these guys, and I pick up the phone and call and then I leave, then that's going to look like I bounced off of that page even though you guys converted. Whereas if it's a form fill, once I fill out that form and click submit, then I go to another page and Google now knows, A, I was on that page for whatever period of time, and B, it's going to count the conversion if you've got goals set up. So pay attention to those things, because a high bounce rate is not necessarily bad, but be looking at those to try to find your high-performing pages and figure out the ones that aren't performing as well that you'd like to perform better, so that you know which pages you want to hit. Make sure you're optimizing all the pages with local signals. If you're not sure what those are, actually yesterday's Wednesday workshop video that we put up is my presentation from the Innovative Dealer Summit in Colorado last week. So there's a lot of great information in there about what to be doing on a regular basis. Besides your site content, you should definitely be blogging. How much you should be blogging is really more up to you and what you can sustain. You want to hit a regular interval, though. So if you're going to post a week, great, do it and stick with it. If you're going to do 2 a month, perfect, stick with it. Make sure you're writing about local stuff as well, not just come buy my crap, come buy my crap, come buy my crap.
That's so amazing that you just said that, because that was her follow-up question was, how often should you be blogging and posting on social media? Some say a few times a week, but it's about what you're saying, and some say post all the time to be in front of people's face, but it's just BS content.
Yeah, I mean, for the blogging, make sure you're posting stuff that people actually want to read. If you're just posting, hey, here's the new F-150, and you're just copying that out of Car and Driver, nobody gives a crap and nobody's going to read it. But if you're writing about interesting things going on either at the dealership, or even writing about things that have nothing to do with the dealership but about the local area, that's great for the local signal, and it's also stuff that people will want to read. So when you do the content marketing side and start sharing these links on social, people actually will click on them and read. So that's important. As far as how often you should blog, like I said, it's whatever you can sustain. How often you should post on social, I would definitely say at least once a day, every day of the week.
Including Twitter? You don't think you want to do Twitter a little more often?
Well, I mean, at a minimum, you'd want to do once. And again, it's what you can sustain. If Felicia is the internet manager and she's got internet manager things to do, she's probably not going to have time to sit there on Twitter all day. You don't want to do everything just scheduled. It's okay to do a little bit of scheduling. I mean, we schedule our posts, but we're doing them once a week. So if you're just scheduling stuff for the month, then you're going to get really behind the times, and it's going to seem canned, and it's not going to be genuine. So the social side, you got to work your reviews. You want to make sure you're always responding to reviews quickly. Build those links. Definitely keep working on your citations. Make sure your citation profile is clean. So all the stuff that I talk about, just go watch one of my presentations that we've posted on our blog, and all that stuff that I talk about, just create a schedule for yourself and make sure that you're hitting all that stuff once or twice a month, and that's going to be a pretty solid beginning to a good foundation for SEO.
Great.
And then there was something else on there after that. What was the second part of her question? Because it started off with what are the daily to-dos, and then it got really long and said something about she didn't have a pay-per-click company. And
she did have a PPC company. She did have it. So
did a question after that?
Yeah, is PPC more or less important than organic and SEO?
They're two different things, really. It's all about market share. If your competitors are advertising on PPC and you're not, then they're taking some money that you could be taking. PPC is expensive. You do have to spend the money to get there, but it does convert. Typically, the people that click on the pay-per-click ads are more likely to convert than the people that come in through organic. It's less traffic, though. On any search, you can figure that 75-80% of people are going to be clicking on organic, and the other 20-25% of people will be clicking on paid search. So depending on the queries, sometimes that can be pretty significant for you. Sometimes maybe it doesn't really matter so much. I know a lot of people that don't do pay-per-click at all, and they're perfectly fine. Does that mean they couldn't do better? No. If you're not doing it at all,
Is
if
there
you're
any
gonna have
who has a
but
crystal
again,
ball?
but if Alicia's doing it herself and she doesn't know anything about AdWords, it's going to be really hard for her to run effective campaigns. But if you go use someone as a provider that does know what they're doing, then of course it's going to be very successful. It just really what kind of budget your dealership has, you know. And if you're super rural and you're out in the middle of BFE, Iowa, you probably don't need to do pay-per-click. You may not even need to do SEO. I've talked to people at conferences that have seen me speak and come right up and come to the booth and said, we want to sign up for SEO right now. And I say, cool, let's look at your site. And we go look, and they're like in Wyoming, and there's not even a used car dealership within 150 miles of them. And I say, look, if you really want to do it, yeah, there's some benefits on the social media side and the other stuff, but you already rank #1 for just about everything, and there's no competition. I don't know that you need to spend that money. Because sure, we're all in business to make money, but I don't feel like sometimes I want to take money from people that don't really need to be doing SEO. Without knowing more about Felicia's specific situation, it's tough to say. But in most cases, I would always tell people definitely be doing pay-per-click along with your organic, because it is going to make a difference for you.
Okay. Felicia wrote in, thanks, great info. By the way, Greg, Christopher wrote in, he wanted to know that bit.ly link again to the content silo. Could you say it once more?
So it is, I don't have anything to write on, and it's
Actually,
bit.ly.
if
So
you give it to me, I will write it in here. bit.ly.
Do I give it to you? Give control of keyboard and mouse, or
No,
make
no,
the
just give me the link so I can write it in here.
Oh, if I type it into chat, you can get it here.
Okay, type it into chat. Okay, while you're doing that, let's get to our next question. We have a ton of great questions that came in from the audience. The next question comes to you from Bill. He says, can you speak to Google's new AMP platform and its importance and what we should expect from our web providers?
So for those that don't know, AMP is Accelerated Mobile Platform, or Accelerated Mobile Pages. As of right now, I would not suggest anyone go out and jump on that bandwagon. A, you're not going to be able to, because it's going to be based on what your provider is able to do. And B, right now, there's really no huge benefit. I was actually at Google earlier this month, and we did have a little kind of an enclave meeting of some of the high-level speakers and influencers that got to talk to Google. And one of the things that we all complained about was Google rolls out a lot of things and puts everything behind it. Authorship is a great example. Google pushed everybody to go do authorship and install it and pushed everything to it, and we all did it. And then 2 years later, decided to pull it and take it away. There are a lot of things that Google likes to push out that they say is really important, and we never really know if it's going to hit or not. With AMP right now, sure, it's pretty cool and it loads really fast, but does it really give you any ranking benefit yet? No. Is it really hard to implement? Yes. If you're a car dealer, can you even do it yourself? No. I would expect that, or I would say that you should expect that your provider is at least checking into it. I know that we are. I know we've been running a ton of experiments with it, but we're not rolling it out to everybody yet because you don't want to just jump on anything. The same thing that Google's pushing everyone to move to secure websites, so to be on HTTPS instead of HTTP. And they've even said that you've got ranking benefits from it. And we've even seen in some small cases where there is a bit of a ranking benefit, but it's super small. But switching from a non-secure site to a secure site is a huge deal, and it's really technical, and there's a lot of things that go into it, and if you don't do it right, you're going to absolutely tank how your website performs. So again, this is something that your provider should be testing, but even though this has been an issue for the last year, year and a half, we still don't see a lot of people that have switched over because it's such a colossal task to do. So same thing with AMP. Definitely your provider should be checking into it and experimenting with it, but I don't think that anybody expects any providers to be rolling it out immediately.
Okay.
Hopefully that was kind of convoluted. I hope that makes sense.
Thank you so much. Great question, Bill. All right, next question comes to you from Wesley. He says, hello, Greg and Eliana. What would you say are some bigger or more unique challenges doing SEO for the automotive industry as compared to, let's say, plumbing?
As far as unique challenges, you've got situations where, I mean, I wouldn't say it's unique. I mean, any vertical that you're looking at, even within plumbing, everybody wants to be number one, and everybody's doing the same thing. So with car dealers, everybody wants to be number one, but if you've got 15 Toyota dealerships in a market, how do you figure out which one's going to be number one? And, in some cases, we're working with a dealer group that maybe has 4 or 5 stores in the same market, and sure, from a group level, they don't really care. They just want their group to be selling more cars. But from an individual dealership level, they want to be number one. So that's difficult because you've got, sometimes even competing brands that are owned by the same group within the same market that all want to be number one. There's only going to be one number one. As far as things that are unique to auto, I see a ton of citation problems. So citations is name, address, phone number listings, typically what people call or think of as directory listings. I see a ton of citation problems within automotive that I don't see as many problems with other people. A lot of that is because car dealers love to do call tracking. Call tracking absolutely wrecks your citation profile. A lot of times we'll see dealerships move to a new facility. They outgrow their old location. They need to get something bigger, or their old location is just old and they want to move to a nicer location, and they don't go clean up that citation data. So specifically within auto, I see a lot of issues with citation problems. We tend to see a lot of review problems in automotive that we don't see as much, or that I don't see as much in other verticals. If you're selling a used car, you're selling a expensive piece of machinery that is used and is old, and the older it is, the more likely it is to break down. And while your dealership may be the most customer facing, we care so much about everybody, we want to do everything we can to give the best customer service, you inspect all your cars and provide warranties and do all this, it's still probably going to happen if you're selling an older used car, that somebody's going to buy that car, and at some point they're going to buy a car, and a month later it's going to break down, and they're going to come back and flame you on Google and Yelp and DealerOn and everywhere else because they think that you're trying to screw them over, even though you're not. But hey, it's a used car. That happens. So we see a lot of bad reviews related to that just because obviously things happen. I mean, heck, I saw a bad review a couple weeks ago of a person that showed up at a large dealership that's a very busy service department, and they showed up with no appointment to get an oil change, and they left a bad review that they had to wait 2 hours to get it done. Well, hello, if you've got a giant dealership that does a ton of service business, you've got to make an appointment for that stuff, people, and the dealership says it all over the website. Just make an appointment, and we'll get you in and out. But if you don't have an appointment and you show up, of
You
course
gotta
you're going to have
expect
to
to
wait.
wait. Yeah.
It's not the dealership's problem. They did everything they could to get you in and out quickly, but sorry it took you 2 hours, So we see a lot of things like that that I think are a little bit more likely to happen in automotive than we see elsewhere. But I mean, SEO is SEO. I mean, there's different tactics. Obviously, we're talking about vehicles and we're not talking about plumbing, but as far as what you've got to do on the website and the types of links you've got to build, those are all pretty universal.
Gotcha. All right, Wesley, thank you so much. Now, Greg, we have a bunch of questions that came in specifically about social media and Facebook, so I was going to get to those now. All right?
Before we do that, we should do the next poll or we're going to forget.
Yeah, all right, let's do the last poll question is on the screen now, audience. I know you love them. So here's the question. How good is your current SEO provider? Now, be honest, people, all right? We're watching you. All right, so we have awesome, because we use DealerOn. Amazing, I do it myself. Good enough, we're not unhappy. Not so great, but you know what? They're cheap. Or our SEO is so awful, Greg would say they were shady mofos. Greg, did you write that in there? Oh, God. All right. So once we get a majority of the votes in, we're going to close the poll and share the results. We don't have the majority yet. Come on, people, keep voting. How good is your current SEO provider? Now, Greg, I'm just letting you know, we're already well into our hour, and we have, seriously, my screen is filled with questions. So we're going to have to pick up the pace a little bit, okay?
All right.
All right. All right. So I'll give you guys a few more seconds to get your votes in, and then we'll close this poll and share the results. And honestly, we should have asked who was going to NADA because I want to know.
Right.
Don't forget, both Greg
If you're
and I.
going to NADA, I speak on Thursday and Saturday. You got to come see me.
Definitely, you don't want to miss that. It's very entertaining as well as educational. And then Saturday night, we have the DealerOn after party, which doesn't start until 11. That's true, but there's a reason for that. Show up and you'll know why. Okay, I'm going to close this poll and share the results. Here we go. Okay, 12% of today's audience say it's awesome. We use DealerOn, duh. 23%, so almost a quarter, say it's amazing and I do it myself. But the majority, 46%, say it's good enough, we're not unhappy. 15% of today's audience say not so great, but you know what? They're cheap. And the remaining 4%, yeah, our SEO is so awful, Greg would say they're shady mofos. Greg, is that what you wanted to hear?
I do need to say one of the things that I talk about when I'm talking to auto dealers is organic traffic or organic visitors are your largest source of traffic to your website and your largest source of leads in every single case, unless your SEO just blows. So those of you that said, hey, my guy's good enough, do you really want somebody that's just good enough? Because good enough isn't. It's your biggest source of traffic and leads.
Right.
You guys need to have somebody awesome doing your stuff. So
Yeah.
those of you that are like, hey, they're good enough, whatever, I would definitely check in and make sure that you're using somebody that's better than just good enough.
And I have to say, for those of you who said, but they're cheap, I am letting you know it could be free, but that is the most expensive thing that you are doing right now to your dealership. It's expensive not to have great SEO.
And
Okay,
cheap SEO is, if you're paying less than $1,000 for your SEO, honestly, you're probably just giving money to your provider because SEO can't be automated. SEO is butts in seats. And if you're getting super, super cheap SEO, that's less than $1,000, there's probably not much they're actually doing for you other than just taking your money every month. So I would be very careful if you're getting cheap SEO.
All right.
And I'm not saying that in a salesy, hey, if you're getting cheap SEO, come see me because I'm better. I don't care whether you use us or not. There's a lot of people on here that do their own SEO. I mean, what was it, 30% of the people that do their own SEO, half the information that we push out isn't about come buy our SEO. It's, hey, if you do your SEO yourself, here's the right way to do it. I'm all for people doing their own SEO, but I would very, very much warn you away from using someone that's cheap and make sure you're using someone that is good.
Right.
It's worth spending that money. I mean, I talk to people all the time, and we talked to a dealership a couple of weeks ago that's spending like 25 grand a month on PPC for the group, and cumulatively between all their stores, they're totally spending, I think, maybe $1,200 a month on SEO, and that's a bad, bad play. I mean, they've got the budget, but they're just cheaping out on SEO, and it doesn't make sense.
All right. We got to fly through some of these questions, Double G.
All right, lightning round.
Lightning round. All right, here we go. It's all about Facebook now for these next few questions. This one comes from Sharpie. He says, should I have my Facebook ads go to landing pages, VDPs, or a combination of both?
Depends on what the ad copy says. So depending on what you're pushing out in your ads, it may be, if it's a special or a service special or something like that, definitely have it land on the landing page. If you're saying, hey, we've got a great selection of cars, sure, land on an SRP. If you're like, hey, I've got this absolutely dope, jacked up F-150, then land it on the VDP for that. But if you're saying, hey, we're a great Ford dealership and we've got lots of Mustangs, you wouldn't want to land on a VDP of a single Mustang. You'd want to land on an SRP of filtered results of the Mustangs that you have, or maybe just a page that talks about how you specialize in selling the most kick-ass Mustangs in the area. So it really just depends on what that ad strategy is and what the copy of the ad is as far as what you want to make that land on. But never, ever, 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 ever have your landing page be your homepage.
Excellent. Okay, Sharpie, thanks for the great question. Next one, yes or no? This one comes from Felicia. Should you be doing paid ads on Facebook?
Absolutely yes.
Absolutely yes. You heard the man.
You should stop thinking of, everyone should stop chasing likes on Facebook. It's a completely useless metric. You could have 0 likes on Facebook and still absolutely murder your competition on Facebook with Facebook ads. Facebook is a social platform for people, but for businesses, Facebook is one of the most powerful advertising platforms out there.
Okay. Next question, Greg, comes, Sharpie wrote in, amen, comes to you from Rick. Rick says, thanks, Greg. In terms of metrics, I've been hearing at Digital Dealer, for instance, that likes aren't really a thing anymore when I repost my cars on Facebook. What metrics should I care about then?
Well, like I just said, don't chase likes. Likes don't mean anything. It's a purely an ego thing to say that you've got more likes than anybody else. But I would counter that, Rick, by saying you shouldn't be posting your inventory on Facebook. That's not the right way to be doing Facebook. If you're doing Facebook and you want to try to sell stuff, you need to be doing ads. Just posting on your organic stuff, posting links to your cars, people don't care, because think of it this way. Why do people follow you on Facebook? Because they're interested in your dealership. How do they get interested in your dealership? They've probably bought from you. If I just came and bought a Jeep from you and the next day you're posting links to Jeeps, I'm not going to care because I just bought one, and that's completely useless to me. And what happens is with Facebook's algorithm, if you're sharing stuff and then your followers don't interact with it, Facebook is less likely to show them something in the future. So if you're just mostly posting links to vehicles, very quickly you're going to find that nobody that follows you will see anything that you're posting. So that's a pretty bad strategy to pursue.
Okay. Rick, thank you so much. Great question. Good luck on that, of course. Real quick, Christopher wrote in, what's more effective or valuable, ads on Facebook or ads on YouTube?
I would definitely say Facebook, because with YouTube you do not have anywhere near the ability to target that you do on Facebook. The demographic targeting that you do on Facebook and the local targeting that you do on Facebook is absolutely insane. YouTube, the benefit to YouTube is if you're doing those pre-roll ads, people have to make it through the first couple of seconds before they can click on. So you've got a few, 4 or 5 seconds or whatever it is, that boom, you're in their face and they can't click on to watch the video. They have to watch your stuff. So it's great for branding. And if they don't make it all the way through your video, you don't have to pay. So if they're only watching those 5 seconds, then it's free. So hey, that's kind of cool. But with Facebook, you're driving stuff that's measurable, that you're driving people to a page and that page is converting. With the YouTube stuff, it's a little bit harder to measure that, and sure, maybe you get a lot of, I would look at it as more brand building for YouTube, because you've got that couple of seconds that you're forcing down everybody's throat, but you're still kind of the drunk guy at the party. They're not looking for you on YouTube. You are just appending your stuff onto other videos, so you're the drunk guy that shows up late to the party that nobody really wants to be there. But with Facebook, you're the guy that shows up to the party and everybody starts partying that much harder because they're super pumped that you're there.
Gotcha. All right, great answer. Thank you so much for that. One last Facebook question came in from Andy. He says, our GM made the decision to delete our Facebook and Twitter pages because he didn't want an open forum where people could bash the dealership. Is this a bad move for us or the right way to go? Wow.
Wow.
Wow, gee. What do we say? This is from Andy.
So I would say, Andy, you are a dealership that instead of worrying about shutting your page down, needs to look at why you're getting those bad comments and bad reviews. If it's so bad that you guys are shutting down your social media profiles, then you guys have some sort of a problem with your personnel or your processes that needs to be addressed before anything else. And I would guess you probably have a ton of bad reviews on Google and DealerRater and Yelp and everywhere else. As far as you don't want the open forum, so you're going to shut down Facebook, well, guess what? Your customers are still on Facebook and Twitter, and they're still going to talk bad about you whether you've got a page there or not. So I would say that's a colossally bad idea.
Yeesh. Okay. Well, going from that question from Andy to this one from Wesley, I think this might be our last Facebook question, then we'll switch back over to SEO. He says, on social media, what can dealers do to grow an audience?
Be awesome.
That's your answer for everything, Greg.
Yeah. So again, my question is why you want to grow your audience. Again, we don't care about chasing likes anymore. The number of likes you have is completely irrelevant to how well you're going to do on Facebook. If you want to use Facebook to connect with your customers, and keep yourself top of mind so they'll come back in for service, then you want to ask people that come in for service or that buy cars to follow you on social because you provide value to them. You've got internet-only specials for service. Like, make it a service play. Make it a fixed ops play. And don't worry about trying to sell cars because it's not going to happen. Then you're telling people at the dealership to follow you and providing valuable information and rebates or service, internet-only coupons that they can only get if they follow you on Facebook or Twitter. That's valuable. People will follow you for that. But if you're like, hey, here's our dealership. We sell cars. Hey, we sell warranties. Oh, hey, we do service.
Still got
Hey,
cars.
here's my dealerships. Nobody's going to care. And even if people do follow you, they're going to either mute you or unfollow you really quickly after that. So you've got to think about what you're sharing. What you're sharing needs to be entertaining and useful and interesting. And if it's not, people aren't going to want to follow you. But again, I would ask, why do you really care? All the dealerships we work with, sure, we do some organic posting, and we do tell them it's important because you want to be interesting to your followers. But if you are using Facebook and you're looking at Facebook as an opportunity to increase sales, you should be looking at Facebook ads, not organic.
Okay, great answer. All right, thank you so much for that. Wesley, I appreciate that. I think we're going to be moving back into SEO questions now. You ready, Greg?
Yep.
Okay. I remember this. Celeste wrote in. She said, Greg, we spoke about this after your last webinar. Haven't found the answer yet. Remember, there was one dealer taking up 2 spots in the 3-pack. He's still doing it. Any new ideas? Did you remember that, Greg? I totally remember
right?
that. Yeah, that was Celeste.
This was Las Vegas, and it was a guy that had his dealership site and a separate blog on a separate URL showing up. There's really nothing you can do about that other than be more awesome than him. So unfortunately, that guy has some good SEO knowledge and has done some awesome stuff for him. It's not really great from a user perspective. But to Google, he's got Google. It's 2 different relevant websites that are very well optimized to show up there. You've got to out-optimize him. You've got to have better signals of local relevancy if you want to bump him out of those spots.
Wow, that stinks. All right, Celeste, we wish you the best of luck, of course, always. All right, next question comes to you from Sarah. Celeste said thanks, by the way. Sarah wrote in again. She says, what are the best methods for managing social campaigns? Do you see a lot of dealers managing this manually, or are there automatic capabilities out there, like integrating incentive updates?
Sorry, your microphone kind of kicked out at the beginning. For managing social whats?
What are the best methods for managing social campaigns?
I would definitely use some sort of a tool just so that you can keep everything in one place and understand what's going on. As far as integrating incentives and specials, I mean, that just kind of depends on what manufacturer you've got. Some of the manufacturers will automatically if they've got access to your pages, they'll automatically push that stuff through, so you don't have to worry about it. Other manufacturers,
nice.
It's just up to you to put that stuff in there. I would definitely suggest not just going directly to Facebook and Twitter. We use an application called Sendible, S-E-N-D-I-B-L-E. It's really awesome. It's got a great alert system and a whole inbox that shows you anytime you've got interactions on any of your social platforms. It's great. Buffer's awesome. If you want to use Buffer, that's a great one. Hootsuite is excellent. If you guys use HubSpot for anything, HubSpot's got a platform that you can do that with. It's easier if you're kind of keeping everything in one place and looking at your schedule and looking at what's going on. Also, it can be really beneficial sometimes if you've got a social campaign that you're running and you're running different things on different social platforms, to use Google's URL builder so that you're appending campaign information in a query string to the end of each of those links. So if you've got a single landing page for the Toyotathon event, but you're pushing people there from Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook and maybe Google Plus, because you want to be one of the 3 people that still uses Google Plus, on each of those times, if you're pushing people to the same landing page, it can be helpful to use those query strings to append, hey, this was from this Twitter social campaign on this date. So that can be helpful in organization when you're looking at stuff on your analytics afterwards.
Thank you so much. Great questions, Sarah. Okay, this next one is from Tim, and I can hear the frustration in his words. When the OEM is paying to get the #1 spot in PPC, isn't that just forcing all of us dealers to have to spend more for our own
Exactly.
PPC?
Yep, and the OEMs will also push out the exact same ad copy all across the board in the same city. So the OEMs are not really intelligent when it comes to PPC, unfortunately.
Okay. Tim, thank you so much for that. Okay, next one comes to you from Dan. And Dan's asking for your advice. He says, how do you, Greg, best define that a dealer's mobile site is, quote unquote, user-friendly or, quote unquote, mobile-friendly?
Well, it's very easy to use Google's tool to see if Google sees that it's mobile friendly or not. So you can go to the mobile friendly test tool to see. You can also look up your dealership on mobile, and it will say mobile friendly in the search results if you're mobile friendly. So that part's really easy. As far as user friendly, it's common sense. If you look at it and it makes sense and it's easy to navigate, great. If you look at it and you can't really figure out, they don't use the hamburger icon for their menu and it's something else weird and you can't figure out what that is. Or I've seen dealership sites where when you click on that hamburger icon, their menu is so long you have to scroll down like 3 times on your phone to see all the different things. That's obviously not user friendly. Or if it takes a really long time to load, that's not user friendly. One of the really big things lately is those full screen background image videos. Sure, they're a shiny object and they look cool, but they absolutely wreck your page load speed. And on mobile, those don't even show up. And if your provider's not setting it up right, it's still loading that giant video in the background on mobile, even though you can't see it on mobile. So I would check all of those things, and you know, it's kind of just common sense at that point. Does it load quickly? Is it easy to navigate?
Gotcha. All right, Dan, if you have a follow-up question, hey, we'd love to hear from you. All right, next question comes to you from Christopher. He says, in your opinion, Greg, do incentives or bribes to fill out a contact form work, such as, hey, contact us and get a gift card when you visit our showroom, etc.?
It can work. I mean, it's depending on what kind of offer you're offering, and then you can test it at your dealership, see if it works for you guys. It may be something that kills in a large metro area, and in a small area it doesn't really work, or vice versa. It may work really well out if you're kind of in the country, and it just doesn't work if you're in a big city dealership. That kind of thing is something that, yes, it can definitely work. It's something you have to test on your end at your dealership to see if it works well for you guys at your dealership. And you also have to look at the cost, because maybe it does work. Maybe it gets people to convert like gangbusters. But if people are just showing up to get the gift card and they're not ending up buying, then it's not really worth doing. So check the lead quality as part of your test to see if those people show up. Are they just showing up to get the free stuff, or are they showing up and then converting later?
Right. All right, great question, Christopher. You know what? I'm wondering when we should do the gift card giveaway and then get back to the questions, because we still have a number of questions to get to, but I'll do whatever you want, Greg.
We can do it now.
Yeah?
Sure.
All right, because we still have a number of people on here.
I think I have a slide for it. I don't remember.
Yeah, you have a slide for it.
There we go.
While you're pulling up that slide, it's that time. If you missed it at the beginning of the webinar, I announced that our good friends at AutoHook are sponsoring this week's webinar giveaway. AutoHook is a showroom traffic driver, and they've built the ultimate attribution engine, which tracks that customer through the lead, showroom visit, and purchase, and then delivers a cost per sale that's best in the industry. One of you lucky webinar attendees is going to win what? A $250 e-gift card. That's right, from our friends at AutoHook. So get ready, get to your keyboards. First person to write in the correct response to our giveaway question will be winning this awesome prize today. Whew, here we go. Good luck, everyone. And no, you would just have to guess the answer to this, because we did not mention it earlier on today. I'm so glad you asked. Here we go. Good luck, everyone. As of this morning, how many movie character tattoos does Greg Gifford currently have on his body? What? I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. The very first person who wrote in had the correct answer. And she's the only one who has the correct answer.
Who is it?
Carolina Shirley, you are our winner today. She wrote in 6. All right, Greg.
Now ask if she can name them. See if she can follow up and name, like, I wonder if she knows because she's seen me before or if she's just guessing.
I don't
Can
know.
we find that out?
Carolina, she says yes, but I can't. Greg, just take off your shirt and show us your ink.
No, she's seen them or she was just guessing?
No, she said she was guessing.
Oh, wow. Good guess.
Wow, Carolina Shirley, you got to write on in and let me know what dealership you're from so we can get this, give you a proper congratulations and get this e-gift card out to you. It's literally going to come to you by email this afternoon from our friends at AutoHook. They're that awesome, okay? So you're going to have it like in an hour, all right? So Carolina, where are you from, dude? Right on back. Let me know. Okay, so by the way, audience, he has 6. He's going to show them to us, right? You're not going to show them to us? I mean, it's only the live audience. It's not recorded. So let's see. We have Sloth from the Goonies. Oh, they're all on one arm? Oh my God, that is Sloth from the Goonies. That's fantastic. Okay, Dan Aykroyd from Ghostbusters is somewhere. Oh my God, you are so funny. Gene Wilder from Young Frankenstein. Oh my God, there he is. Oh my God, that's crazy. Bruce Willis from Die Hard. I love that scene. Sean Connery from Dr. No. Where's Sean Connery from Dr. No? Oh my gosh, that's hot, babe. And this is your latest one, isn't it? Rowdy Roddy Piper from They Live.
Yeah, I'm in the process on that one. I've got 2 more appointments till that one's done.
Wowza. Oh my gosh. Carolina Shirley, she wrote in. She is from McCarthy Morse Chevrolet. Where is that? Oh, it's in Overland Park, Kansas. Congratulations, Carolina. You are going to be getting $250 e-gift card sent to you directly from our friends over at AutoHook. Thank you, everyone, for playing along. Don't worry, I know only Carolina's a winner today. But you know what? We give away cool prizes every week. So come on back to another DealerOn webinar. Who knows? That might be your lucky day to win an awesome prize on a DealerOn webinar. And we have to thank our good friends over at AutoHook for their incredible generosity. Don't forget to check out AutoHook. Go lead2show.com. That's lead with the number 2 show.com. All right? All right, so let's get back to some of these awesome questions, all right? We still have so many. All right, your next question, Greg, comes to you from, let's see, which one should we do? Let's do Rich. Rich says, hi, Greg. We have a paid VDP strategy and an organic SRP strategy. Do you agree this is the way to go to maximize website conversion?
That is not enough information for me to be able to answer that question. A paid VDP and an organic SRP strategy, I have no idea what that means. I'm assuming he's meaning that they advertise their VDPs with paid search and they're trying to get their SRPs to show up in organic. I would have to talk to him in more detail about what it is that he's doing. I mean, I don't feel like there's enough info there for me to intelligently answer that question.
All right. So, Rich, I know you're still on, so write back on in and we'll circle back around to your question, all right? Next question comes from Ben. Ben, who I always email with every week. Ben says, I'm in a smaller market, and we're one of only 2 Hyundai dealers in the area. What is the best way to stand out? Well, that doesn't sound too hard, Greg. How does he be awesome. The one other guy? Of course, be awesome.
Well, you're only competing against one other guy, so I wouldn't really say that on Hyundai-related searches it's that important to stand out. You're going to be there regardless. What you do need to compete against is all the other brands in your market and all the used car dealers in your market when you're talking about used cars, and then all of the service places when you're talking about service. And that's where you can stand out and be different, because that's where it really matters. That's where it's going to give you the most bang for your buck. When you're just talking about one Hyundai versus the other, I mean, it comes down to talking about why your dealership is better. You've got to talk about, I mean, because obviously if somebody's to the point where they know they're going to buy a Hyundai, they're going to go to you or they're going to go to that guy. And the difference is going to be they're going to have to make a decision. It's either going to be based on price, and beyond price, it's going to be based on the experience of the dealership. Why are you guys cooler than the other guys? What do you do that's different? What do you offer long term that's different than what that guy offers? Maybe you're just more funny. Maybe the social stream that you have, you've got more personality. I mean, there's a lot of different things that can play into that, and it's all important. Be funnier, be more interesting, be cooler on social, have better reviews. Reviews are really easy to outpace anyone else on, so just get really kick-ass reviews. Talk about on your site, sure, there's a lot of, you've got a couple other choices in town for Hyundai, but here's why we're the better choice. And you don't have to go and drag them through the mud, but you can talk about things that you do at your dealership that make you a better choice. And maybe those things don't exist. If those things don't exist, figure out what those things could be and implement those practices at your dealership or that customer service point at your dealership so that you will stand out.
Ben, we wish you the best of luck always, sir. Okay, next question, and this is an interesting one. This one came in from Christopher. He says, well, Greg, if incentives do work, what's the best to offer? Because I ask because our contact forms, which are everywhere, don't get a lot of action. Now, this is strange because I know that DealerOn contact forms get a lot of action. So what are we doing?
I mean, this would be something, who's this from, Christopher?
Yes.
Christopher, are you going to NADA?
I don't know. He's not answering.
If you're going to NADA, come find me at the booth. I mean, this is something that's, with limited information, very hard for me to answer. And without looking at your website, it's hard to answer. It could be that your contact forms aren't getting interest because your vehicles suck. I don't know. But
oh, he did answer. I'm sorry. He did answer.
No, but I mean, if your inventory sucks, people aren't going to be contacting you. If you don't have a clear call to action for people to use the forms, people aren't going to be using the forms. If the forms are below the fold, or if they're way over on the right and there's a lot of distracting stuff, or you've got too much flashy crap on the page, or a lot of videos or things that distract from them, maybe they won't get filled out. Maybe you've got bad reviews and people won't fill them out because people start looking at your reviews and see that you're a shady mofo. There's so many things that can play into it. It's not just, you know, if you're looking at your site and saying, wow, we should really be getting more forms filled out, there are a lot of places I would go before saying maybe we just need to offer an incentive and pay people to fill our forms out. There's probably a lot of other stuff at play that's much more important than trying to figure out what you want to offer to try to get people to fill those forms out.
Okay, so Christopher did write back and he says, unfortunately, no to NADA. He's not going to be there. And he did write back again and he said, yes, my inventory does suck a bit. So I don't know.
I mean, that could be the problem. I mean, honestly, compared to other people in the area, if your inventory is not as great, you're probably not going to get as many forms filled out on your website. And offering people to fill stuff out and get something for it, that's probably not going to affect that very much for you.
So this is it's not your fault kind of thing?
Yeah. It's if you feel like your inventory is not so great, okay, cool, then work on getting better inventory. And, you know, maybe, I mean, for all I know, he could be a buy here, pay here guy. If he's a buy here, pay here guy, well, you know, there's a lot of stuff there that could come into play too. So again, it's just really tough to answer without having more information there. Okay. But it's likely that it's probably not related to they need to offer an incentive. It's probably related to there's other things that they need to worry about fixing first.
Okay. So just so you know, Greg, we're really way over time. I think we should close out this webinar in the next 10 minutes. So let's see how many questions we can get through in the next few minutes, okay? And then we'll close it out.
Sure.
All right. So your next question comes to you from Alyssa again. She says, this is a paid search related question, but we used to have a 70% impression share on AdWords about 2 months ago dropped to around 45%. Is this something industry-wide, or is this something probably just local to me? I don't see anything in the competitive metrics tabs giving me any answers.
I can't answer that because I don't really play at AdWords, so I'm not the right guy to ask that question to, sorry.
Okay, Alyssa, I'm sorry we weren't able to help you out on this one, but if you're going to be at NADA, stop by the booth because I know we'll have somebody like Sean Rains who might be able to help you out and answer that question for you, okay? All right, next question comes to you from Mike. He says, We're moving to a new location. What should we do to make sure we don't lose visibility in searches?
So definitely make sure that you get all of your citations set up correctly. So you don't want to go set up a new Google page and a new Bing page and a new Yahoo page and a new Yelp page. You want to change the address on all of those over so that you keep that review history and that time history there. But you've got to make sure that you don't only change it on Google or only change it on, you've got to change it on all the data aggregators and everywhere else. So make sure that someone that understands citation profiles and how those play together is either on staff, or it's definitely worth at least, maybe not necessarily hiring an SEO company, but getting an SEO company to consult with you and give you a checklist of things that you need to take care of as you go through that move. It's extremely important, because otherwise you can really wreck how you're going to show up in searches.
Okay. Follow-up question from Christopher, by the way. He says, regarding tracking numbers, etc., our various partners want us to use their tracking numbers so they can show how good they are. But you've mentioned before about bad citations. Are all these various tracking numbers on cars.com, email delivery, etc., are they hurting us?
So what's going to be bad about tracking numbers is if you've got a directory type listing somewhere where it lists your name, address, phone number, and it's a different phone number from what's on your website, that's where it's bad. Now, if you're sending out an email and that email has a tracking number in it, that's fine, because that tracking number doesn't exist anywhere other than in that email. So it's not like it's on a website listed somewhere, then it's different from your site. So that's okay. If you're doing call tracking through AdWords, totally okay. Google lets you do that. But when you start putting a different phone number on AutoTrader and Cars.com and eBay and Craigslist and DealerOn and all of these different sites, that's when you start to really muddy the waters and get into trouble.
All right, Christopher, thank you so much for the great questions. You've had some really good ones today. Last question is from Maureen. She says, how important is it to have a high impression share in dealership terms as compared to model search terms? We spend a lot of our budget on dealership terms, and I feel like we're wasting a lot of our money on it. This is from Maureen.
That's a pay-per-click thing, Maureen, and that's not, I don't play in the pay-per-click world. I mean, I can answer a couple of questions about it, but that's something you really would need to get with Sean or Orko or Mike Shog or one of the other guys on our team to really, truly answer that.
Maureen, thank you so much. Oh, and we did hear back from Rich, who you said you needed some clarification on his question before you could answer. So let's see if this will help you out, and this will be our last question. All right. Thank you so much, Rich, for writing on back. Okay, hi, Greg. To qualify my question, just to reiterate, his original question was, we have a paid VDP strategy and an organic SRP strategy. Do you agree with this way of setup to go and maximize website conversion? So he says, hi, Greg. To qualify my question, we target our paid campaigns to land traffic on the VDPs. And our organic traffic, we target the SRPs with link building, content copywriting, etc. We don't go after organic VDP traffic because we turn our stock quickly. Is that the best way to go about it?
No, you should all. I'm guessing they do their own SEO, because anyone that says that they're targeting their organic to their SRPs, your organic should be every page of your site that you're targeting. If you've got something in your inventory, even if it's only there for a week, it doesn't mean that Google's not going to index it and it's not going to show up quickly. You can't say I'm not going to target my VDPs with organic, because it's going to show up anyway. I would guess that it's probably more likely you're going to get clicks on VDP stuff from organic than from pay-per-click anyway. As far as answering that question, if it's a good strategy, again, that's somebody I have to have a pay-per-click person in the room to answer. I don't know, are you targeting every single VDP? Are you picking just the VDPs of the vehicles that you sell a lot of? That's a really complicated question that's tough to answer with limited amounts of information. But I would say I would not ignore, whatever platform you're on, your VDPs are probably automatically optimizing the important elements. I would definitely not try to push all of your organic strategy to try to hit people on SRPs. There's so many other things that are important that you can hit that's going to bring in traffic and leads and sales. So I would be careful if that's all you're concentrating on with what you guys are doing with SEO.
Okay. Rich, thank you so much for the great question. If you're going to be at NADA, hey, look us up at booth 6626N, and maybe we can get you a more definite answer once you get to speak with Greg in person, all right? Wesley wrote in, thanks, Greg and Aliana. You guys keep being awesome. Good luck. Have Batman. Rich wrote in, thanks so much for the answer, Greg. And David wrote in, I love this webinar format. My kudos to whomever came up with this idea. That would be you, right, Greg?
You're welcome.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. I want to remind everyone that a link to download a copy of this amazing webinar is going to be sent to you a little bit later on today. So be sure to share it with your friends and colleagues. And also, this webinar is going to be posted online. So feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. Go to DealerOn.com/webinar and click on the link on the right-hand side for on-demand webinars. And yeah, you can see any of our past webinars, and you can also check out any of our upcoming webinars too. And hey, this webinar is going to conclude in just a moment. Did you feel like David and you thought this webinar format was awesome? We want to hear from you. So check out that short survey. It's really short. It's 6 sentences, all right? 6 questions. That's it. Check out that survey. Let us know what you think. We want your feedback, okay? We're looking forward to seeing what you have to say. And DealerOn is going to be exhibiting and presenting at the upcoming NADA convention next week, everyone. So if you're going to be there, stop by booth 6626N. We have a great booth. Make sure you catch the amazing presentations from 3 DealerOn executives. We hope to see you there. I'm going to be there, so I'd love it if you could stop by and say hi. And DealerOn also has a really cool promotion we want all of you to check out. If you haven't yet checked out our amazing line of products, this is your opportunity to do it. Here's the deal. Go to the website, DealerOn.com/webinar. Click on the little button that says pre-schedule your demo at NADA. Attend a demo at NADA, and you get $100, just like that. Look how easy that is. Now, if you wind up liking what you see when you check out our amazing line of products, and you wind up signing a DealerOn purchase contract at the show, we're going to upgrade that $100 to an iPad Air 2 or an Apple Watch, your choice. That is pretty much awesomeness personified right there. So go to DealerOn.com/webinar, fill out that form, and we will see you at NADA. Oh, and when we see you at NADA, I hope you guys will take part in the DealerOn karaoke after party on Saturday night at 11 p.m. It's going to be at Dino's in Las Vegas. It's going to be a blast. If you've never been to a DealerOn karaoke party, you have no idea what you're missing. It is so much fun. But we're actually giving away a prize. We're picking 5 contestants to perform in front of a panel of judges. Winner gets $500 cold hard cash. And if you want to compete, all you got to do is make a short video of you singing. Send it to Sean Rains at Sean, S-H-A-U-N, at DealerOn.com to qualify. And you know what? If you're not a singer, I hope to see you come out for the show. It's going to be super exclusive, so make sure you stop by booth 6626N to pick up your pass for the DealerOn karaoke after party Saturday night at NADA. We'll see you there. And invitations will be going out tomorrow for our next DealerOn webinar, How to Increase Your Speed to Market. I didn't even know you could do that, but apparently you can. Typically in business, speed is in direct proportion to profit. However, did you know it could still take more than 2 whole weeks from when a vehicle is purchased at auction to finally be front line ready? And many dealerships fail to take full advantage of that time to get that car to appear online as soon as possible. Well, let me tell you, every day a car isn't sold is more money the dealership isn't making. So how are you using the time before your vehicle is frontline ready? In this exciting 1-hour webinar, Russ Daniels, from the company that knows more about online inventory than anyone else, HomeNet, is going to share proven strategies and cutting-edge techniques about online merchandising that will work for you and your dealership. He's going to discuss how to enhance online vehicle merchandising and distribution processes to further faster your speed to market. And additionally, attendees will learn best practices for online vehicle merchandising in 3 phases: auction and transportation, reconditioning, and frontline ready. After this unique session, you'll be fully prepared to incorporate these proven processes using updated merchandising technology and current industry trends. So get ready for another hour of awesomeness. If you want to learn how to increase your speed to market, then you simply can't afford to miss this presentation. So don't forget, DealerOn's weekly webinars are held Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific. We have some really great webinar subjects planned for 2016, but if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions regarding these webinars and our topics, hey, contact me directly. I love hearing from you. My name is Eliana Raggio. I am everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Google+. I'm on all the automotive social networks, so track me down online or just email me at eliana@dealeron.com. Thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today, and I hope to see you all on another webinar in DealerOn's continuing education series. Take care.